Savvy Business Radio, drawing out the best from our guests with our host, Christina Nichman.
Our guest today is John Gattuso, Chief Executive Officer of FIXD. FIXD was founded in 2014 to help drivers understand and repair their vehicles. To find out more about John and FIXD app, visit FIXD app.com. Hi, John. Welcome to Savvy Business Radio. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you betcha. When Alana, our good friend, told us about the wonderful work you're doing and this app you've created for untech savvy people like myself and don't know anything about vehicles or cars, you've created a wonderful app, FIXD, which helps anyone who doesn't know what's going on with their car figure it out, get very easy, explainable understanding of what needs to be repaired and what's going on with your car, get into the mind of your car. Before we go to sharing all the yummy details of FIXD, share with the audience, how did you come to this wonderful idea? What brought you to building FIXD?
Mm-hmm. So growing up, I always loved cars, and I kind of got this reputation amongst my friends that whenever you had a problem, you'd call me and I'd help you figure out what was going on. And me and two other guys wanted to create a product that for people that didn't have someone like me to call.
Oh, I love that because there's not always a John available.
Right.
And so that's great. So you always had a fascinating car. Did you fix cars and own them and were you like a fever or something or?
Oh yeah. I have built a lot of cars. I do some amateur racing, and I was at school in Georgia Tech. I was the president of one of the racing clubs. And so we would build a car every year and then race it. So I got intimately familiar with all the various subsystems and what was going on with cars.
Tell me, what fascinates you most about the workings of a car?
I think it's just like the complexity of a modern day car is there are hundreds of subsystems that are communicating with each other, and they all are trying to work on this like delicate balance of getting the car to operate in its optimal state. And so just that balance is fascinating. And cars have been extremely well engineered. And so there's fantastic opportunities in that in terms of diagnosing them, understanding what's going on with them, and just how the systems compensate with each other if there's ever a problem.
And how has it been when cars switched to being more electronic? Did it make it harder for the systems, more complex, or has it made it kind of easier because everything's connected through a computer of sorts?
The complexity has definitely gone up a tremendous amount over time. Like as every car company is trying to make cars operate more efficiently and be higher performance and deliver kind of the level of reliability that we want, naturally the complexity of those systems has increased with that. And so, but luckily now that nearly all of these things are being electrically measured, we can start to go and diagnose those things. Whereas previously, like if it was a purely mechanical system, you had to go and actually look at the device. So now we can do a lot of these diagnostics remotely.
Oh, that's awesome. And so how does this really work? You download the FIXD app. How do you get it into your, car systems? You said it works from any car from 1996 onward. How does someone who doesn't know anything about all this stuff get it going and can figure out what's going on with your car?
Yeah. So, there is a port on every car since 1996. It's mandated by the government, so it doesn't matter what make or model your vehicle is, and it's just under your steering wheel. So most people, the closest they've usually ever come to seeing it is like if you ever have to get an emissions test done, or you take your car to the mechanic, the port that they plug into is the same port that we plug into. And so we sell a small device that plugs into that, and it Bluetooth connects to your phone. And so from that, we can read all the various engine computers, be able to take that really complex kind of terminology that the car's outputting from its various subsystems, and then interpret that into language that's kind of understandable for anybody. Because if I were to tell like my mom, for instance, that her secondary air injection system was broken, like she has no idea what that system is or does. Like, it's severe. Is my car going to blow up? Is it just a emissions thing? Like, what is it? And so it sounds intimidating, but really when you get down to it, it's just a system that's used to help the car heat up quicker. And so it's not really going to affect anything about how you drive. It's just an emission related thing.
Yeah, it's funny when you don't know about electronics or what's going on and you break it down. I remember the very first time I took a flying lesson, I knew nothing about the inner working. I even called the tachometer, I thought, oh, it's a tachometer? Because I looked at the piece of paper and they give me this little sheet we're going to work on today and the different instruments. So the tachometer, altimeter. It's like, no, altimeter, tachometer. But I didn't know what any of them meant. So I get into the airplane, and the first thing the instructor says when we, right after takeoff, he said, your plane. He gives me the airplane, and then I'm sort of thinking I'm flying it, but he said to me, keep everything in the green. I'm like, what the hell happens if I keep it out of the green? I don't know what that means. So yeah, you can see why having knowledge really makes you feel at ease. So when they get this information, it's easy to understand. They could just take it to a local mechanic and say, okay, here's what my fix is saying, and then the mechanic will know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's two types of customers that we have. Some that take their car to a shop, and then some that fix the problem themselves. And so in the app, we try to cater to both of those groups. And when you register, you tell us where you fall on that spectrum. So do you like to fix it yourself? Do you like to take it to a shop? And then we cater a lot of the content that we show you in the app to that preference. So if you want to fix it yourself, we'll help sell you the parts to actually execute the repair. We'll show you a procedure for how to do it. Whereas if you want to take your car to a shop, we'll kind of give you a lot of helpful understanding about like, what is this problem? What does it do? Why is it important? So you know if you need to go get it taken in right now, if you can wait a little bit, and then kind of some important questions that you should ask when you go in for that thing. So when you are talking to the mechanic, you just feel comfortable, and you have a kind of level of transparency that a lot of mechanics really, really like. Is they want people to feel like they're comfortable, and they want people to come back to them over and over again. And so we want to try to facilitate that.
Yeah, I love that, John. I don't know if you've seen that commercial where there's these gals and guys who don't know anything about car, and they come in and they're telling the mechanic, and the mechanic's like, what's wrong? And they can't tell them. They said, but it's making it sound like boo, 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 boo. And they're trying to explain it to him by making weird sound because they don't know how to tell them what's wrong with the car.
Exactly. Yeah.
But this definitely makes it a lot easier. Now, would you suggest, or is the information you get from learning how to repair and stuff, is it somebody like a novice as far as fixing cars like me? You think a good fix to be able to try to fix small things by myself? Or would you suggest that, unless you have a real understanding of electronics, don't even touch it?
Well, it really depends on the problem. And so for a lot of those problems, we can recommend like kind of a level of difficulty. So if this is just kind of like screwing on your gas cap, that's something that anybody could do.
Oh, yeah.
But if you need to go and replace like a main bearing or something like that, that's like a hugely different task, and it's going to require a much different skill set to be able to go and do that. And so there's we're trying to build the product and the experience such that we're able to convert some people that are on kind of that fringe, like, because I think really the reason that a lot of people don't do the work more themselves is they don't feel confident that they could do it themselves, and they don't know how to do it. And so if you could put that procedure in a really simple to understand way to do it, like people could do several of these repairs themselves. Like, for example, changing your wiper blades. Like it is an extremely easy thing to do, but a lot of people are intimidated by it and have like they've never looked at the wiper, or like taken the time to try to replace it. And so they think it's complicated when it really takes 15-20 seconds to do. And so if we can help educate people about what they're getting into before they actually go and do it, we can inspire confidence in some of it, or just give them the heads up that, hey, you probably shouldn't be doing this. You should take this to a professional.
Don't touch it, please.
Yeah, right.
No, but it's great they have that option. And here's something that's interesting. My husband loves to build computers. When we first started dating, he would build a whole bunch of systems and like to build more powerful systems. And to me, it's just the whole world of computers, and he does code, just sounds really intimidating. Now, code's much harder. He's built websites with, like the ground up code in the background. But the building of computer, I watched him do several computers. I'm like, well, it doesn't look that hard. And he's like, it's not. So we built my computer twice over. When we maybe 2 years after being together, we built one, and then last year we built one again together. And I'm like, it seems like people go out and get these really expensive things from Dell or HP, whatever. And if you want everything fully set with all the software in it, that's great. But it gave me a sense of empowerment when he showed me the ropes of how to look for stuff, make sure it all matches so that when you put it together, it actually works. But once you got that bit going, the putting it together is really not that hard. And it makes you feel empowered. Like now, if something goes wrong with my computer, I can troubleshoot it. I know what's inside of it. And so I think what's really awesome about FIXD as well is it gives people that, hey, there's a lot of stuff with your car that you could do very simply, learn, and it empowers you with your vehicle, that you're not just someone like at disempowered, like, oh my gosh, this went wrong. How do I for this? What do I do? And now you feel this sense of empowerment.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And because a lot of our customers, they really rely on their car to work. Like they don't have multiple cars. They're really dependent on that car working and them getting a fair deal. Like I forget I don't know. I think there was a stat that was something about 42% of Americans can't afford a $400 bill without going into debt, a $400 auto repair bill. So it's like extremely important that these customers of ours are able to understand that they're getting a fair deal somewhere. And so whether that's fixing them themselves and saving on that labor cost, or it's taking it to a shop and knowing what price they're going to get, like that's really, really important. And so we want to try to inspire that confidence and empower people to, if they feel like they want to get it done, do it themselves and give them the confidence that they can actually do the repair. And we've been working on a couple features and we just introduced a couple new products that help that system. So for example, one of them is we created a fixed mechanic hotline. So you can subscribe to this hotline and be able to talk to a mechanic on our staff at any time you want. You just call us and they can answer any question you want about your car. So they'll be able to, let's say you have a repair, you think you can do it, you start doing it, you realize you're kind of in over your head, you can pick up the phone and call one of these mechanics and they can walk you through exactly what to do. Or if you're at the shop and they're telling you that you need X, Y, and you came in for an oil change, but they tell you need bushings and brakes and tires and X, Y, and Z else, and you're kind of like feeling pressured by them, you can pick up the phone and call one of these guys and say, hey, like what questions should I be asking? Like, how do I know if I actually need tires? How do I know if I actually need brakes? And be able to kind of have that backup in case you ever need it.
Yeah. So this is just one more element that makes FIXD that much more awesome, because not only were you giving people the resources to, here's the information you need to know that if you can fix it, here's how you can do it, here's what's going on with your car. But what was really really awesome about your service is that you also give people estimates of how much to expect. So if you're thinking, oh, well, this could be $1,000 or $1,500, it's like, no, it's actually $90. And I think you said earlier that you give suggestions of stuff in the area. Do you do that, or?
Yeah, we have a section of the app in which you can find good shops in your area and be able to schedule a service at them.
That's amazing. Now, do you pay for the monthly service to be able to use FIXD? How does it work?
It's just a one-time fee. You buy the hardware, and then the app is completely free. There are some things that like in the app, we have the ability to sell you parts for a particular problem. And so to do that, we send you to Amazon currently. And we take an affiliate commission on driving that sale to Amazon. So the customer doesn't pay anything. Amazon just pays us a little bit for driving people to their website. But every other, like, updates are always free. We're not going to charge people for the functionality of being able to read that check engine light and understand it. We're also making a lot of our own content that's included in the app for free. The only things that we kind of charge for are these third-party services that we offer for people in the app that just make the experience better. Yeah,
and it gets you to know your car that much better. And as you get to learn about your vehicle, it makes you a better driver, for one. When you're going about, you understand what's going on with my car. If you start seeing a light go off, okay, I know what that means. It gives you this sense of empowerment as a driver, that I'm not at the mercy of my car because I need it to get around, get groceries, go to work. Now you're an empowered consumer and driver, which is awesome. And where can they get FIXD? Is it FIXDapp.com?
Yep. You can get it from our website. You can get it from Amazon. We've recently got in-store placements with Best Buy and Target. And then we also are working on several other retail relationships that should be coming out pretty soon. But there's a lot of great stuff that we're working on.
Share.
Helping people understand what's going on. We've got I mean, there's a tremendous amount of additional features and functionality that we've got in the pipeline and planned for just making that experience better. Because at the end of the day, we just want to make kind of maintaining your car as easy as possible. Make sure people don't ever feel like they're getting taken advantage of or feel like they're helpless whenever they have a problem with their car.
Well, I know what I'm getting my sister this Christmas. My mom passed away last year, and the car my mom left for her was totally acting up. She went to a million different mechanics where she lived, and they told her it was $4,000, and then she paid $4,000 from her savings, which was all of it, and then the car still didn't work. So yeah, she could have totally used FIXD, and I'm sure that she got raked over the coals there, not being informed and empowered with a wonderful product like yours to give her the empowerment about stepping in there. Because she called me up and she's like, "Are they telling me the truth?" I don't know nothing about cars. I can't help you.
Right. But and imagine if the thing that I think we're most excited about is imagine that same experience if you were like trying to buy a hotel or buy like a plane ticket. Like, what if you went on to Expedia or Travelocity or any of these services, and then they were like, "Hey, like we think it's going to be $600 for you to fly to Los Angeles, but it might be more, it might be less, we don't know," until you actually get on the plane. And then like get on the plane and you land, and they're like, "Oh, actually, it was $1,000." You're like, "Well, crap! Like, what are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And like, we think that there's just a tremendous opportunity to like bring transparency to that industry, like very similar to how transparency was brought to the travel industry when you had all these these travel sites kind of pop up that really brought a lot of transparency into the pricing and into the service. And so because we have this unique insight into your car, we think we can bring that same level of insight into auto repair.
I love that you just mentioned that transparency, because not only does it give you a sense of empowerment as a consumer and driver to go out there and say, "I know what's going on with my car. You can't lie to me, dude, because I know what's going on." But it also is good for everyone in the auto industry, because now anyone who wasn't dishonest will be weeded out and go out of business. And then the people who are awesome will stay in business, and we're going to keep giving them business. So it'll weed out the yucky people in auto industry and keep the great ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there are tremendous shops out there that really understand this relationship, that really understand that what it's like to treat a customer well and treat a customer fairly and have them be a lifetime customer. And that's really, we want to enable those shops to do really great business.
Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, and we've talked about that particular subject on the show several times, is that some people are so in love with that sale right now, they forget about it's not the sale right now, it's the lifetime relationship that builds the ongoing business, that you give value to the world and to your customers on an ongoing basis, and they in turn pay you for that value in cash. So, but you want that, not just one sale, you want that ongoing relationship is what you want in your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, John, this has been so fascinating. I'm so grateful that you put this product out there. And, Christmas is coming around the corner, everyone. So, for anyone out there who feels that they're just not empowered with understanding your vehicle or someone in your family, this is a perfect gift to go get them this Christmas and holiday season. Go to fixedapp.com. That's FIXD app.com and get FIXD app today. And John, thank you so much for coming to Savvy Business Radio.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Take care.
Savvy Business Radio broadcasts worldwide via a large podcast network celebrating business owners, entrepreneurs, influencers, and successful individuals. Find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest. Call 732-474-7375 or email Christina at savvybusinessradio.com.